host, Karla Nivens.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Karla Nivens. I am your host for Every Heart, Every Woman. Our show is a partner of Love Ministries, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. You can go to loveministriesbuilds.org and get all of the great information about Love Ministries. And you can also go to my website, karlanivens.com. Keep up with everything that is there. Well, I'm so excited that Minister LaToya Jones is joining us again today from Flames of Passion. And LaToya is here co-hosting, and she's brought some great guests with her. LaToya, will you introduce our guest for today?
Sure, I would love to. Hello, everyone. Our guest that we have with us today is, I'll start with Anna Ocansey, and then we have Oneida Franco. Together, they are this power partnership. You're going to hear more about them, but one of the things that really sticks out to me regarding them is that they are so cultural rich. They have so much to give to their community, the Latin America community, and just to our world. And so I'm excited that they're here today. And we're going to see what they have given to women as well. So Karla, if you can talk a little bit about their bio, and then we'll head into our discussion today.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about their background. Both of them, they met in the world of finance. So we like that. We've got some smarty pants on the show with us. We love smarty pants, but they're also very, very, very creative. So as you're listening, you're going to listen to their story and listen to what they have to share, and your life is going to seem more normal. You know, all of our creatives out there, we're going to get a lot from their conversation. But they have co-founded The Whole Kitchen, is a business that creates meaningful experiences around a shared appreciation for food, sustainability, culture, and introspection. And they launched Casa dos Chicas Cafe, which is a brand of The Whole Kitchen, in October 2021. Casa dos Chicas Cafe. I'm practicing my the right way to say stuff, y'all. I hope y'all are proud of me.
Very proud.
It offers organic, single origin specialty coffee sourced mainly from Latin America. The company's goal and mission are to celebrate Latin American heritage while promoting equitable, sustainable practices along the entire coffee supply chain. So welcome. We're so glad that you all are here, and we're really looking forward to our conversation. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. It's an honor.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we would love for you all to start by just introducing us to yourselves. Tell us more about your brand and your mission.
Yes.
You want to take it, Oneida? Sure. So Casa dos Chicas was born out of sort of a tradition that Anna and I had when we used to work together in finance. And we used to have our cafecito. That's like their afternoon mid coffee break. And it became a tradition, And then, years went by, and, we went kind of like separate ways work-wise, but we kept in touch. And, one day, we started brainstorming about starting a business, and this is how The Whole Kitchen was born. But then when the pandemic hit, we had to kind of pivot. And that's when we said, hey, we love coffee. Why don't we just, go for it and start, this coffee brand. And we started like exploring the actual world of coffee as a business, right? Because before we were just like, enjoying coffees, like all sorts of coffee. Anna used to always take, because Anna's really passionate about learning like all the methods. I remember she used to come, she's like, oh my God, Oneida, I remember Anna, you used to go like to the different little classes. I remember you went to like Joe's used to have classes. But we got into it. We have met amazing people along the way. And, we focus the mission in really helping and closing the gap, with women in the coffee supply chain, especially in the specialty coffee sector, which is very different than commercial coffee. It's handpicked. Machines can't get up there where it's grown because it's grown at really high elevations. And so that's our mission, to really support women, educate also the consumer about drinking coffee and the benefits of drinking good coffee. No sugar in your coffee.
No sugar in your coffee.
No sugar in your coffee.
Because if you have great coffee, the taste comes out and it's rich and flavorful. You don't need sugar.
Yes. We have given like sensory experience. We've taken classes of sensory experience. And it's a whole thing. It's like wine tasting, really. It's in that level. And Anna can get a little bit more technical about how we're in the third wave of coffee and what that means. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, Anna.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So to go back to what Oneida was saying, that I would take classes. So that's how I learned the differences in the coffees, not only in the preparation, but the actual coffee bean. And so most of our coffees are the Arabica, which is a smaller bean grown in higher altitude. So they're not as mass produced as the Robusta, which is bigger. And I went to a coffee farm out in Hawaii, and I saw the actual production of commercial coffee. They have these huge machines and they take everything off the trees. So it could be coffee, could not be, it could be overripe, underripe coffee. So you have to really watch what you're drinking. And that's what commercial coffee is. And so a lot of times I know once my cousin came up to me, she's like, but I feel sick when I drink coffee. So to her, the first thing is, what are you drinking? You got to know where's it from? Most times if you look at a coffee bag and it'll tell you where it's from, then it's going to be specialty coffee. And there's more care and more quality in that bag. But yeah, I was taking classes in coffee. We would go to different cafes and learn different coffees. And so I kind of got I took a deep dive into the coffee world. And so what was funny is at one of my jobs during Hispanic Heritage Month, that's kind of how it started. I would just started bringing in coffees from Mexico and Brazil, different, so that people can taste different coffees. And you don't realize, and I guess it'll go into kind of like we were talking about, just like what your gift is. You don't realize how it interweaves throughout your life. And you really didn't realize it then, right? Because this was like, 15, 20 years ago when I started, but it goes even beyond that to like our childhood. And it's just embedded in our Latino tradition. Like somebody goes to the house, would you like some coffee, right? Anything, it's always coffee time. So that goes into like what our motto is, that everything is possible over a cup of coffee. Because wherever you go, you have an interview. You sometimes have interviews over coffee. You go talk to a friend. Oh, I need somebody to talk to. Let's go get some coffee, right? You want to buy some time. Let's go get some coffee. So, and that's how this business launched actually as well. We were in a cafe talking about, okay, so what is it that we're going to do? I was reaching the ceiling in my career. And obviously with that, the compensation, the position and all that, just looking to see something else that we can do, that we're not limited by society. We're not limited by corporate ladders and all that. Because this is truly just based on the hard work that we put in it and the love that people see that we have, that is so genuine, just to taste our coffee, because our coffee is like the best. And it's not just because it's ours, it's like specialty coffee is just so good. So that's how we really were at a cafe. Just we're like, what are we going to do? And it goes kind of being led by the Holy Spirit, being led by your path, your destiny, right? Because it's not like we were both without jobs and we're like, we need to do something. It's just like in our path. And Oneida went to DR on a trip. She met some very important people that are important to us in the coffee world and our personal life. And she saw a coffee farm that was ran by women, and that the proceeds of their coffee sales go to fund a one-room school, and it helps just that society just it was really torn, but that's kind of like it started. So it's just like little pieces. Okay, well, we want to buy their coffee, we want to sell their coffee, so what are we going to do? So that's kind of how it started. It's just what, you just have to take that one step at a time. But that's really how it started, just conversations and talking and taking one step at a time. You don't have to like jump over the cliff all of a sudden. It's just, one step at a time. And then, you get to a place where you're like, wow, we did that. Like, wow, our coffee is in like one of the biggest grocery stores in the US. Like, wow.
Yeah. I love it. I love that we're like 10 minutes into this conversation or so, and I'm already convinced that in particular, I need to try your coffee. And because my experience, and I don't normally drink coffee. My mom didn't, she didn't grow up brewing coffee. So I don't even think we had a coffee pot like at our house. But when I went on mission trip to Costa Rica and to Africa, that's when I tasted like good coffee that was fresh. That, we just went to the farm around the way and got some, and they made it for us, individual cups, made it for us during the break. And then I came back here and tried to drink coffee, and I was like, what in the world is wrong with this coffee? So I know firsthand there's just a difference. And then when we go to Costa Rica, and like we're working and we're doing labor, we're serving, we're sweating, we're out there. And then when they say it's time for break, that's what it is. It's coffee, and it's fresh coffee, and it tastes so good. And the breaks there are, more than 10, 15 minutes. It might be an hour and a half. You're going to sing some songs, dance and really enjoy yourself, really take in the coffee, get the experience, and then refresh yourself, and then get back to work. So I would love to know more about your trip to Dominican Republic. I mean, was it specifically like, let me go here to take a deeper dive into coffee, or were you just going and it's like the Holy Spirit just put this opportunity in front of you?
Yeah, it was sort of like serendipity, really. We were like there for another reason, working, and they just introduced us to this coffee. Wow. That because I don't know, in Dominican Republic, like there's this big brand that it's everywhere. And so when they told us that, this was like picked, handpicked, and where it was grown, they showed us pictures. I was just like fascinated, and I had to show Anna. I was like, oh my gosh, Anna, look, it's like an entire like world out there. And the thing is that, it's an island. So believe it or not, a lot of the coffee that is the commercial coffee, it's imported from outside of the country, because the government doesn't incentivize the farmers enough to actually produce the amount of coffee that the Dominican Republic as a whole consumes. And so, that's why it's more expensive, the coffee over there, like when you buy it here. Because it takes much more, the production, and there's smaller batches. There's like one big estate that's like the biggest, coffee producer, which we actually purchased from. I mean, it's a small island, but now, and more than ever, because we're in the third wave of coffee, there's just an emergence, I think, in Latin America and the Caribbean, of specialty coffee. And we're here, we're riding the wave. We're like in it. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So talk more about being females. And this is not a question that we had planned to ask, Latoya. Sorry, I'm going off script. But the other thing that I learned, especially when from my travels in Costa Rica, that the part that we were in, it seemed like every home, like there was a business in every home, and it's the females that are running the businesses, outside of their home. So I think it's, and that was the area that I saw. This is what I saw. I'm not saying, that's everybody, but talk more about being females in this industry and how you're able to lift up other females in this industry and how you're making your mark in it.
That's a great question. I mean, I started my own business. Now it's going to be, a little bit over 5 years ago. And I think it's about, for my experience, I think it's about going out there and just taking a chance on yourself, right? Once you do that, you kind of like change your perspective. Yeah, there's a lot of obstacles and there's a big gap, that we need to close. But I think that the important part is going out there and proving it to yourself that you can do it. And it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, a lot of figuring it out, a lot of making mistakes, but learning from them, and not giving up. I think it's what's important, because a lot of people, they only see the good, and obviously as a business, you have to put like, your brand, what you're doing out there, like the press, but like what goes behind the scene, and the challenges that you face is what really defines you and what really, I think, positions you for success. I think your attitude towards any adversity or any situation that is presented to you, especially in business, as a woman, particularly in the coffee industry, we're discovering that like we actually got to purchase direct from woman Denise Goyes in Colombia, and that was such a proud moment for us, for Ana and I. We were like, oh my God, we actually said, this was going to be our mission, and we actually did it. Wow. Like we directly like just paid FedEx and shipped it, and Ana actually roasts that coffee to order. Okay, guys, so if you want to try like fresh coffee roasted by the lovely hands of Ana, that's, I think, a roast that you should try, Denise Goyes. But so I think, there's a lot of challenges, and it's just like taking things one day at a time and really maintaining that focus on what your mission is. And we've had a lot of opportunities, but again, it's about showing up, I think, every day and following through, even when you're not feeling, your best. But yeah, that's my experience.
Yeah. So Ana, I wanted to ask you a question that kind of leads, back into something that you said before, when you said that you didn't really, don't think of it as jumping off of a cliff. Think of this as taking steps, because a lot of times maybe you do feel like you're going into the unknown, and you don't have all of the answers that maybe you feel like that you really need to keep moving forward. So tell us more about, and we also did Flames of Passion this summer, founded by Minister Latoya Jones. And we talked about fear and how fear sometimes creeps in and makes us stand still. So what do you do to combat that fear? How do you keep yourself moving forward? Maybe even in the days, like we said before, that you don't feel like your best, but you still have this list of things that you have to get done. How do you keep yourself in the right frame of mind to keep moving forward?
Good question, Karla. I would say fear is the biggest thing that keeps a lot of us back, right? It keeps us in conformity, because if you're used to that weekly check, semi-monthly check, you might not be happy where you are. People might not like you. You might want to strive for more, but you don't want to let that job go, because you don't know what's on the other side. And that's the fear of the unknown. And like, I quit my job exactly a year ago, in August. And so obviously I had my own support system. My husband supported me. And you just have to know that if it's in your heart, if God puts something in you, he's not going to let you go, right? And it's in those small steps. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to have all the answers right away. It's just taking that first step. And then after you take that first step, you take the next step. And God will bring the right people into your life when you need them, right? They might not all be there. Okay, let's all hit the ground running and we're going to make millions of dollars right now, right? It's just those little steps. With me and Oneida, we launched first with the whole kitchen and we had our first event. It was wonderful. The meals, the conversations, the relationships that came out of it were amazing. The reviews were just outstanding. And we were going to plan another one because this is obviously our prototype. This is what we're going to do. And then COVID hit. Mm-hmm. So how are we going to pivot? And we didn't sit down, right, Oneida? I don't remember. We didn't sit down and say, okay, now what are we going to do, right? We just kept on going. We started taking classes on then how to open up your own coffee business. Not even thinking about it. It was just, we knew people that were running classes and we're like, well, let's support them. We're going to learn at the same time. And one of the assignments was like design your own coffee shop, come up with a menu, create a financial model. Where's your break even point? And when I started looking at the numbers, obviously we're numbers people, like this is so doable. We can really do this. And then out of that came the conversation from Oneidas trip to the Dominican Republic with coffee farmers. So that fell into line. Obviously we had the financial model. Then, okay, so if we get the coffee, how are we going to roast it? We didn't know how to roast at that time. Oneida was able to find a gentleman there in Florida who did our roasting for us. We went in, we met with him. We felt comfortable with his patented technology, right? Then, okay, now bags. How are we going to make these and how are we going to sell them? I don't have a sales background. Oneida is obviously a better person to sell than me, but at least in my opinion, right? But we've made it. You just take one step at a time, and then you see like throughout when you look back at your trajectory, how everything just interweaves in there, right? Where the county background, making coffee, making those connections, and really at the end of the day is making those connections, but not being afraid that I have to do everything right now, because God will place those people in your life at the time when you need them, right? And those moments when you're feeling down, you just have to, like we say, you got to pull yourself by your bootstraps, because we're women. At the end of the day, we are the hardest working people, humans, right? Because we not only have to be strong for ourselves, we have to be strong for our spouses, we have to be strong for our children, and we have to be strong for each other. And so where do you pull that strength from, right? And that's what you do to get up every day, to do those lists. And even if you don't have a long list of things to do, then okay, I'm going to do some yoga. I'm going to go walking around. Let me tend to my plants. Let me plan my meals for the week. Keep yourself busy, right? Because an idle mind is the playground for the devil, right? So that's where your thoughts come in, and that's where worry and fear start to come in. So just don't give that time to negative thoughts and worry. Just keep yourself busy and just know that you take one step, God got you, right? I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
That's good. Anna, as you were talking, I am reminded that, or what I hear is that it's okay to have big dreams that are different than maybe your everyday normal, or maybe inside your 9 to 5. And not only is it's okay to dream, but it's okay to take those steps towards the dream, because you're going to accomplish it if you just get past the fear, right? And just step out and do it. So thank you for sharing. I know that this conversation is very rich that we're having. And so I'm sure we're going to go probably have 2 parts. And so I look forward, Karla, this is great conversation. So I look forward to hearing what else we are getting into in a moment, Karla.
Yeah, I agree. We've just scratched the surface. So let's do a two-parter, ladies, so that we can even go deeper. So my name is Karla Nivens. I am the host of the Every Heart, Every Woman show. We are a partner with Love Ministries, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Go to loveministriesbuilds.org. You can get all of the great information about Love Ministries. You can also head to my website, karlanivens.com. LaToya, will you give your website as well?
Sure. So my husband and I, we have a website. It is jirehsjoint.com. So JIREHSJOINT.com.
All right. And then ladies, will you all close us out, this segment out, by giving your websites as well?
It is CasaDosChicasCafe.com. So that's spelled CasaDosChicasCafe.com. It's long. It's Casa Dos Chicas Cafe. I'm sure you guys are going to have the info, the link there for everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, yeah, go and grab, a fresh roasted coffee bag.
All right. Okay. So we're going to close out this portion and we will be back with part B.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.